Hi, we're here with Jeff Kress, who is the author of our book, Growing Jewish Minds, Growing Jewish Souls, Promoting Spiritual, Social, and Emotional Growth in Jewish Education. And Jeff, we're very excited to have you here and just want to really learn a little bit about your background and hear a little bit about what brought you to this book.
Great. Thanks. Delighted to have a chance to speak today. I'm currently on the Faculty of Jewish Education at the Jewish Theological Seminary, where I teach and I work with primarily with master students, but also with doctoral students who are studying to go out and become Jewish educators. And before coming to JTS, I worked as a psychologist, and I was trained as a psychologist. My focus was on working with schools, and primarily it was secular schools. I'll tell you a little bit in a minute about how I made the transition. But working with schools and educators around the idea that schools can be places where kids go to learn about things, but they also go to develop, to learn life skills, to learn the important lessons that they need not just to pass a test or a quiz, but also to get along with others, to work in groups, to be able to handle difficult situations when they come by, to be resilient, to understand their own emotional experiences. And all of that could be done in schools as part of the educational process, not necessarily as an addition, but as kids are learning literature, they're also learning about themselves. And my work, before coming to my current job, was to help educators embrace that role, to really see themselves as facilitators of kids' development and positive growth. And when I started making the transition over to JTS and into Jewish education, what really excited me was what I saw as a very obvious tie-in between some of these techniques and approaches from this world of what we might call social and emotional learning, the applicability of those to Jewish educational goals such as promoting derech eretz, making a mensch. And when you speak, or when I've spoken to Jewish educators over the years who are out in the field, those kind of goals keep coming back over and over again, no matter who I speak to or where they work, across the denominational divides, across schools, camp, youth groups, day schools, synagogue schools. The constant is always, we want people with a solid grounding in who they are and a rootedness in Judaism and a connectedness of who they are Jewishly with how they can make a positive contribution in the world and how they could be good members of the community, good members of a family, etc.
So, Jeff, I thought we'd continue by asking, could you give a little insight as to how you went about selecting the people to contribute to the book? And perhaps just even before that, describe how the book is designed so that people will know your thinking.
One of the areas in my work that I've enjoyed the most has been to go out to work with different organizations or schools or give presentations around the area of how educational settings can promote holistic growth in the social, emotional, spiritual realm. And as what is really exciting about doing that work is when I meet people who share their innovative and exciting ideas and tell me about the great work that they're doing in that area and about the really wonderful and deep and important thinking that they're doing in that area. And what I've started doing was keeping a network and communication with people who I think were doing some really exciting things. And when the idea for this book was generated, the idea came from the thought that there was a lot of interest in this topic. There were people and pockets of innovation and excitement out there in the field, but they were isolated. So let's use this as a resource to bring some of those ideas together. And really, I was able to turn to the people that I had met over the years, and some of these were new referrals as I started to develop the book. Someone would say, "Hey, did you speak to, whoever it may be?" Certainly not a comprehensive, a book with every good idea would be rather heavy on a bookshelf. But these are people who I think are doing, they're thinking in an important way about the topic, and they're doing action on the topic, and can convey the exciting part of their work in a way that the reader will be able to relate to and be able to take home important takeaways and important applications to their work. And the book is organized that there are a number of different chapters, each one with a different author or authors. Some of the chapters toward the beginning are more conceptual. They give you an overview. And then a lot of the chapters are practitioners who are sharing their experience and sharing their thought, and telling you about their work in a way that highlights generalizable ideas, so that readers would be able to connect their own experience and their own work with the advice being given by the different chapter authors.
And the foreword, for example, you can talk a bit about that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the foreword of the book was written by Jonathan Wucher, who is I think the title is Chief Ideas Officer over at JESNA, and
JESNA being
the Jewish Education Service of North America, and that group, which does a lot of work on trying to push the envelope on innovation in the Jewish community, and not just ideas-wise, but also action-oriented, had a focus over the last couple of years on what they were calling whole-person learning, which relates very much to this idea that we don't teach Bible, we don't teach the Parsha, we don't teach Hebrew, we teach Jewish youth or Jewish adults, whoever it may be. And becoming a mature person and a mature Jew is all of those things. It's a whole person endeavor, and that's what Jonathan Wucher brings to the table in his foreword, and also in his in general, in his support and kind of being a booster for this area in the field.
And just to conclude, who would you think would be the most likely best people to benefit from reading the book, and then any thoughts for the future of Jewish education?
I think that the book can and would be a wonderful resource for people who are educators and educational leaders in a variety of settings, and I'll name a few of those. Temple educators, regardless of what the title might be. People who are in what we would call informal or communal settings, Hillels, camps, tripping programs. I would say also clergy who are working in temples would have a lot to pull from this book about what it means to think holistically about education, and what it means to work with adults who are their congregants and their teachers who are working in their schools. I also think there is a chapter on application to parenting, so I think that parents would find something of note in this book. And I really think that anyone who is connected with the endeavor of Jewish education would find something rich there. The boards of education at local synagogues, for example, would be able to look at the different chapters, and it's not, it's a difficult business. You can't say, well, here's an idea, I'm just going to replicate it, because each place is different. But to get to the second part of your question around kind of hopes for the future, What I would hope for, and I'm actually very optimistic because there's, I think, a great excitement about the topic. I think that the people who read this book would be able to take from it kind of a sense of mission and a sense of intentionality around embracing the full potential impact of their role. The people who I've met who've gone into Jewish education in as a career, I think they get this, and they're looking for ideas. They're looking for a framework for understanding, and they're looking for a language to really back up this gut feeling that is, I think, really, it's more than a gut feeling. It's a fact on the ground that an educator, a Jewish educator, could be a huge influence on the life and development of Jewish youth. And I think that anyone who could connect to education in that way would find something valuable here.
Well put. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.